don't usually do this, but until you're there or until you're going through it, I don't think you accurately understand the mental and the physical toll that this can take on someone. It's like, I don't even know how to describe, like, I just feel awful. I don't even know what set me off. I just keep thinking that I'm gonna spend the rest of my life like this. Like, I don't think you understand, and just everything is infuriating. It's so unsettling feeling like your own body is not yours. Like, my limbs are just so heavy. I keep hitting my ankle against the bottom of my door frame when I'm getting in and out of my car, because, you know, the same amount of energy or strength I would put in to get in, like, it's not the same anymore. So I just keep injuring myself like that because I'm just not used to the fact that, you know, suddenly I just like have no energy. And physically, I mean, people look at me and they think I look fine, and I'm not. And I'm not fine. And I can't even say to people like, I want you to do this or I want you to do that. I don't know what I want anybody to do except to fix me. I don't want to live with this for the rest of my life. It's so uncomfortable. It's so unsettling. Do you even understand how it is to just be walking and to just feel so weak and frail and have this constant like fear, like, that's it, the body's gonna give up, I'm supposed to be a healthy 23-year-old and I have to plan around things and be like, oh, I don't think I can go and do and live my life because, you know, is today the day that my body is just gonna be like, no. Like, my greatest accomplishment this week has been being able to sit up for 3 hours without having to lie down. Just for 3 hours without having to lie down. Do you understand how heartbreaking that is? To think that my greatest accomplishment at the age of 23 is that for 3 hours I could sit up and it's just so awful and unsettling. Like, I don't know how to describe it. I just feel awful. And, you know, the longer this goes on and the longer, like, people ignore me, the longer people say such ignorant stuff to me, like, oh, you're still ill? Or, oh, you're on your period. It's not my period. I'm not bleeding. It's before I bleed. It's so much pain, like mental pain, and then it's not physical pain, like I'm not in pain, like ow, I'm in pain, like my body is heavy. When I walk, it feels like I'm looking from outside. Like, the legs that move, I don't even feel like they're mine. Like, half the time I can't even feel the floor when I'm walking. You know how scary that is, to not feel the floor when you're walking. The longer this goes on, the more I'm like, is it in my head? Is it me? Am I just making myself like this? But why would I make myself so ill? I don't understand. Like, why would I do that to myself? But nobody takes me seriously. Nobody wants to do anything. It's such a lonely, solitary feeling, and I can't even say to people like, I want you to do this to make me feel better, I want you to do this. There is nothing that will make me feel better other than getting my body back. I feel like a prisoner to this. Like, this is not my body anymore. My body has been gone for so long. Like, I haven't had the strength, and like, it's just always a struggle and a battle. Like, I'm okay for 4 days, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to shove everything into those 4 days. But then, you know how nerve-wracking it is thinking you only have 4 days per month to actually live, to get things done. Only 4 months. And like, I can't avoid certain events and stuff like that, and I just feel so bad. Like, I want to go back to being able what I used to do, you know, helping out in the kitchen if I need to, setting the table, you know, being helpful and being appreciative to the host. But all I can do is just sit and lay there, and I look so lazy, and I look like I just don't care about anything anymore, but I do. I just don't have the energy. I don't want to go through this anymore. It's so hard. I literally feel like 2 different people. So the 4 days per month when I'm fine, like, I feel on top of the world, like nothing could ever stop me, like I can do whatever I want. You know, I'm a very ambitious person, but then for the rest of the month, how do I balance that out when I have no energy to do anything? It's just so upsetting, you know? There's only so much I can put up with it. You know, how long do I have to continue to live before I actually live, before I actually feel like I'm alive? I don't even feel like this is my own body. I feel like I put so much on hold in my life just to be able to manage my symptoms day to day. And it's so hard for me to know until after it's happened and I'm bleeding to know if it was because my period was coming up, or just because. And that's a scary thought. Like, I tried to tell myself, it's just the PMDD, but I don't actually know that until my period comes, because the symptoms I get are so wide ranging. And, you know, who's ever heard of, you know, if I came to you and I was like, before I get my period, my body gets super heavy, I get pins and needles in my arms, my legs, my upper lip, my throat, my chest, and, you know, my mind gets really, really dark, and I hate myself. I hate the person I've become with everything I've done, and I think I've amounted to nothing, and I'll never amount to nothing, and I'll always be ill and a burden, and I'll just wither away. You wouldn't believe me if I said, that's because of my period, because my period is coming up, because the hormones are changing and my body doesn't like that. Does that even sound plausible to you? But it's the reality that I have to live with. But if you were to talk to me in the 4 days that I'm fine, you would think I'm a completely different person. Like, I would say yes to everything you would say. I would legit drive like 4 hours, no problem, just to go get bubble tea because I wanted bubble tea, you know? Like, I would have so many ambitions, and just, you know how upsetting it is to have to think of all the stuff that you wanted to do in your life and just have to be like, comparatively, you know, I have a lifetime of stuff that I want to do, but we're gonna pick 1 or 2 But it's not the one or two that you want the most, because you certainly do not have the energy to expand on that. So from however many goals I had in life, my current only goal is to get better. And I can't even do that. I can't even do that. The only thing I want is good health, and I can't even do it. Like, I don't want money, I don't want to be famous, I don't want people to love me, I don't want anything, like, just nothing. I just want to be okay. I just want to be okay, and for that to feel like a luxury. It certainly feels like a luxury. I need to go make breakfast. I need to fuel this stupid body of mine. I need to go. I need to get stuff done. I need to force myself to get stuff done. I can find the energy, even if it's for 3 seconds. I just need to warm up, put milk or make toast or something, just anything that is nice and easy, and then I can lay back down on the couch. Oh God. Part of me is like, oh, edit all of this blowing your nose. Oh, my hand's gone really numb, I can't lift my hand, and the tissue paper is in the hand that has just gone numb, so that's great. So part of me is like, oh, you should go back and you should cut a lot of stuff out of this, like all of the blowing my nose, but this is the reality of what it is to live with PMDD. As you can see, my emotions are kind of calmed down, and this is like the yo-yo that you go through. Like, you can feel so low, and then the next minute you're just like, hi, everything's fine, you know. Like, I just told you that my hand's gone numb and I can't lift it, and I'm like, you know what, it's fine, I'll just use my other hand. And I just, you know, people, I just would like them to be aware, because I'm not suddenly better, I'm not acting just because, you know, I might come to your house, or I might come to see you, or you might see me in public and I look dead and I don't say anything to you and I'm not responding to you, and then coincidentally somebody else might say something and then it looks like I'm responding to them, and I'm like enthusiastic and I'm like nodding my head and I'm smiling and like I look like I'm fully paying attention, and that's not because, oh, they're interesting, it's because my body has decided we're gonna relax for like 30 seconds, and you're gonna feel like your normal self and on top of the world, and like you can do all your usual stuff, and that's just how it is, and it's just so unpredictable. And sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I just need to cry and get it over and done with, but sometimes, you know, it's a whole day thing, sometimes it's a whole week thing, sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's just 3 seconds, but it's so, like, I'm sure listening you can hear the difference already. And I don't know, I think for me it's going to be really interesting to listen back to this and then be like, oh my god, who was that bitch in the beginning? Because I do not recognize that as myself. Like I said, like, I truly feel like 2 different people. You know, there's the me that is the normal me who's not affected by it, who, you know, she could take over the world if she wanted to. And trust me, sometimes she does want to. But then she's not the dominant one for most of the time, because I'm affected by my body illness most of the time. And maybe it's not all PMD, maybe there's some other things, but to get someone to accurately look at me and to tell me things without being so biased, just because I'm an Asian woman, just because I'm young and I'm 23, just because I am a woman, first and foremost, for people not to blow me off, just be like, oh yeah, whatever, it's just like period emotions. No, I need you to properly look at me. I fully believe it's PMDD. I believe there is more things as well because, you know, some of my symptoms are quite extreme. And just for somebody to take me seriously, not somebody to just take a list of my symptoms, put it into a database and be like, you're too young to have this. I don't think it's this. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's this. You know, it's very disheartening. You know, I think it's been like 4 years of actively trying to get help, and I go through the same system every time I go to my doctors. I have to do the whole spiel again. They will keep me going back and forth with them, just giving them quote unquote new symptoms, even though I've already told you this, guys, ages ago. And then they will send me to a specialist of some kind because we will focus on a different symptom each time. For example, we focus on my ovary pain, then we'll focus on my head pain, then we'll focus on my nerves and like the pins and needles. So each time I'm going to a different specialist for, you know, that one specific symptom. And each time I get discharged like within the first session of being with the specialist, and they're like, yeah, it's not anything to do with us. And then I'm discharged from both my general GP, who like doesn't do shit anyway, and the specialist, who, bless them, tried their best, but like, you know, I've come to you, you said it's not that, but you haven't given me any other option, you just sent me home. And then, you know, I have to be the one to then contact the GP and be like, you know, the specialist gave you some recommendations, like how about looking in this area, or how about, you know, monitoring my heart, for example, and you have not like rang me or anything to try and set that up. You know, I understand it's me having to take responsibility for my own illness, but you also need to understand that it can be very hard to do with the symptoms that I have. You know, sometimes I don't want to talk on the phone because I might be the person who was here at the start of this podcast. I might sound like that. I might cry at everything they say. And, you know, things people say, if they're like, oh, can you tell me your symptoms, I will probably cry because I'm like, you should already know the amount of times we've been through this. It's been 4 years, like, come on. And it's very frustrating. The one thing I will say is the most frustrating is when I feel like I have to explain myself every time I am quote unquote ill. Someone will ask, oh, you're not feeling okay, is it your period? Is it your period? And I have to be like, I mean, technically is due to my upcoming period, but no, I'm not bleeding right now. I believe I have symptoms for 2 weeks before my period, and you know, like, I get really unsettled because I feel like my body's really heavy, and I get pins and needles in my arms and my legs, my chest, and it's really bad when it's my throat. You know, I feel like I can't really handle that. And why do I need to say that whole spiel to make myself feel like that you're taking me seriously? Like, why do I have to tell you the ins and outs to kind of feel like you're not gonna just be like, oh yeah, whatever, she's faking it? Like, why do I have to do that? Why can't you, as someone who is in my life or who knows me, just understand and not forget? Like, I'm not asking you to be like, oh, are you experiencing this symptom right now? Oh, I just want you to be mindful. And like, I know it's easy for me to say, like, I don't even know what that means, but you know, constantly telling me the wording of, oh, you're still ill. How do you think that makes me feel? Don't you think I already know that I've been ill for 4 years, actively like knowing that, oh, I have this? You don't think it upsets me to be reminded constantly that I'm still ill? Because it is very upsetting. And if I lash out, people are like, oh, why? She was just saying. Like, no, you don't understand. I have to deal with it on a pretty much daily basis, where my body is reminding me and telling me, you're ill again, 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 and again, and again, and again, and again. And then you want to go and say it as well. I can't stop my body from feeling this way, but you can shut your damn mouth. You can be a bit considerate. And yes, I'm going to be aggressive about it, because if you've been in my life and you know I've had this for 4 years and I've been open and I've told you, and it is hard to open up and tell people, because I feel like people think I'm a freak, especially a freak of nature. I think I'm a freak of nature. For you to then almost disregard the turmoil that I went through to tell you, or to explain it to you. And it's upsetting, when I hear people say it like that, or when I hear people, misconstrue it. It makes me feel like you never listened to me in the first place, and you don't care what I'm going through, and you don't even want to try to understand. It's not just a headache, it's not just my period, it's not, oh, she's just tired. There's a lot of things at the same time, and all of it just pretty much means that I cannot function. And to know that you could be in my life and you want to portray yourself as someone who just doesn't care. I'm not saying it's your responsibility. It's not. It's my responsibility. But, you could not be a dick about it. You could not make me feel like I am some kind of alien who doesn't deserve respect and to feel good. If I have brought myself out to come to you, to your home, to your adventure, or to create an adventure with you, to then not feel like you respect that I have pushed through all these boundaries just to be here, and that I may not give you the best like I could have done before, but I'm putting my everything into making sure that I'm still here. Because there are a lot of times where I could easily just be like, you know what, I'm feeling very unsettled, I'm gonna leave. And that's easily within the first 30 seconds to the first 2 hours of being in an event or something. Afterwards, usually I settle in, I find my rhythm rhyme, I feel comfortable. But imagine if you were relying on me. And in the first 30 seconds, I was like, we've travelled all this far, but I'm not feeling it, I'm going home, you're coming, obviously, then we're going home. You wouldn't like that, would you? So just be mindful and be grateful and appreciative of the effort that I put in, because I don't have a lot of energy to put in effort, and I don't want people to be like, oh, thank you, you're doing so great, I'm blessed. It's not that, it's just give me the respect. I've put in a lot of effort and energy, and I've had to fight myself to come and attend or be there or to take you or whatever, just to be present in that moment with you. I would like to feel like you see me as a human. You respect the troubles that I've gone through, and you're thankful that I'm here, whether I can put in 110% or not, whether I look like I'm having fun or not. Just something as simple as, I know you're not well, but I'm so happy you came. You know how nice that sounds? That sounds so nice. I think if somebody said that to me, that would be easily the best thing someone's ever said to me. And just something along those lines of, I know that coming was a decision for you to make, and you weighed it against so many things, and I'm so thankful you came. Thank you for, just a simple thank you for coming. It feels very nice. Okay, I think I've talked long enough. I really need to have breakfast. So, I don't know when this is gonna come out. I hope I put this out soon. I hope I force myself to. Perhaps Saturday the 15th. I think it would be really good, because having an insight, me telling you what I go through is not the same as me actively describing what is happening to me whilst it's happening to me. I think this is a good insight, and I hope it will help people who deal with people who go through chronic illnesses. This has been Coconut Didi. She has been not very enthusiastic and not very well, but you know, she's turned up, she's here, she's done her thing. And I just hope what you take with you from this is that your wording is everything, and there are certain ways to voice your concerns without sounding like a dick, without having to remind us that yes, we're still ill. Like, I got it. You don't need to be like, oh, still. Yeah, I'm not vibing with that. So thank you for listening. I hope this wasn't too upsetting for anyone. It probably can be quite jarring to listen to, especially if it's someone who knows me and has only ever seen me, in the 4 days that I'm well. Who sees, this very strong, confident woman, and then to see me like that. But I am still that strong, confident woman. In fact, I'm more strong and more confident because I go through this and I come through it every time, alive and kicking. So, yeah. Bye!